Many people have asked me, how does one know if they're mentally enslaved or not? For those who don't know what mentally enslaved actually is, mental slavery is a state of mind where discerning between liberation and enslavement is twisted, where one becomes trapped by the misinformation about themselves and the world. Mental slavery is the worst form of slavery because it gives you the illusion of freedom, makes you trust, revere, and defend your oppressors, while making enemies of your own people who are trying to free your mind. As I originally stated, many people have asked me, how does one know if they are mentally enslaved? It's when nothing that you believe are true nor makes any sense. I know that's a very vague statement. Therefore, to help you know whether you're mentally enslaved or not, I've made a list of beliefs held by those that are mentally enslaved. If you believe that we African Americans made the N-word ours and that using it now ridiculously empowers us, you are in fact mentally enslaved. If you believe the fact that millions of African Americans now self-identify by the N-words, speak Ebonics, sags our pants, and glorifies pimps is a natural occurrence, then you're mentally enslaved. If you believe that it's acceptable to routinely call our women B's and H's, if you believe that we're being controlled by a silly slave syndrome myth, which presents what would in fact be the least effective method used for controlling generations of millions of people, if you believe that it makes perfect sense to get your morals from a book written by the most immoral people we've ever encountered, if you believe that a Bible written by history's proven most ungodliest group of people contains the true words of God, if you believe that a Bible that was brutally beaten into submission within the blood-soaked, tortured minds of our ancestors now provides a path to our salvation, if you believe that the white establishment has moved past its evil racist proclivities and that it's therefore now ourselves that are our own worst enemies, I think none of these beliefs makes any sense at all. If these are your beliefs, you are in fact mentally enslaved. If these are your beliefs, then your intelligence level is exactly where white oppressive forces wants it to be, because you are in fact mentally enslaved by the white society. White governments don't want awakened, intelligent, critical thinking black populations. They instead only want black populations that are just awakened enough to work, pay taxes, fill their sporting arenas, entertain them, and fight within their unjust wars, but that are too mentally enslaved to realize that our culture has been negatively socially engineered by white oppressive forces to think and behave in ways that are against our own interests and instead in ways serving the system of white supremacy. White governments wants us kept mentally enslaved enough to believe everything, any and everything that literally insults our own intelligence. Those noted beliefs are held by millions of black people, and they were deliberately embedded into our collective minds through the white society's monopoly over information that we receive. Because the white society controls the information that we receive, this allows them to control what we believe. They've exploited this fact by deliberately embedding lots of disinformation into our collective minds. Black people are the unknowing victims of the white oppressors' disinformation warfare campaigns. Disinformation warfare campaigns are strategic deception campaigns involving the intentional spreading of false information with an end goal of misleading, confusing, and undermining a targeted population. It deploys disinformation and misinformation propaganda against targeted populations. The tactic is designed to make the targeted population think and behave in ways that are against their own self-interest and instead in ways serving the interests of those conducting the disinformation warfare. White oppressive forces works unrelentingly behind the scenes, spreading disinformation into the Black community because they know that as long as our understandings of our plight and condition remains flawed, then all of our liberating strategies that stems from those misunderstandings will also be flawed. They don't want us ever gain the true understanding of our plight and condition that is necessary in order to develop the proper counter strategies to truly liberate ourselves. This is why whenever those of us who know the truth attempt to post any Black liberating information on social media platforms, Facebook blocks it, Twitter and TikTok deletes it, Google hides it, YouTube bans it, the media censors it, the white government forbids it, and they all shadow bans us. They don't want us ever gain the true understanding of our plight and condition that is necessary in order to develop the proper counter strategies required to liberate ourselves. The white oppressors' disinformation campaign is the true reason why millions of African Americans now argue among ourselves, insisting that we're not from Africa, but are instead true indigenous Americans. It's also why millions insist that we're the true Jews found within an easily proven as fictional Bible written by our most ungodliest enemies. That makes no sense at all. It's also why they have millions of us insisting that we should call ourselves niggas, a word that sounds very much like the original derogatory N-word, simply because it's an ancient Ethiopian word meaning king. That makes as much sense as being told that shit was an ancient word meaning king and thinking that presents a good idea to now call ourselves shit. To emancipate your mind from white mental slavery, you must think for yourself and start critically thinking, start researching facts. Don't let the brainwashed fools or the system or anyone else dictate what you think. Be independent. Don't just blindly follow what the crowd is doing. Our core problem is that the ignorant ones have been made overconfident, and they fight fiercely against those of us who are intelligent, who are trying to free their minds. Therefore, the intelligent ones now remain silent. This silence allows the beliefs held by the ignorant and mentally enslaved ones to prevail throughout our communities, keeping the Black masses mentally enslaved. This is by deliberate design. It is a tactic called structural cultural stupidity. It's also called culture of ideological stupidity. This is when a dominant group exploits its monopoly over information that a targeted population receives by constantly feeding idiotic ideologies into the target population. Those that are ignorant among the targeted population accept the idiotic ideology and then starts repeating it, believing it, functioning based upon it. These ignorant ones are then given a national media platform to amplify the idiotic ideology that they've accepted, while the intelligent critical thinkers among groups are denied a national media platform to express their objection of the idiotic ideology. This creates a one-sided flow of information into the targeted population, promoting the idiotic ideology, like we made N-word R's. You keep promoting it. Call yourself niggas. Keep calling yourself niggas. This makes the ignorant ones become overconfident within a state of ignorance, okay? And it causes the intelligent ones to become intimidated and they become silent, thus allowing the idiotic beliefs of the ignorant ones to prevail throughout the communities, creating a culture of stupidity. This is what has been done to the African American culture. It's the true reason why millions now self-identify ourselves as niggers, call our women B's and H's, sag our pants below our butts, glorifies pimps. Oh, this is not scapegoating in an attempt to wrongly blame whites for our own shortcomings, as some of you have been brainwashed and programmed to think. It is a true social science. It's called media social engineering. Those who control the people's media images are able to steer their culture. The white society controls our media images and able to steer our culture. Because we've been stripped of our true identity and culture, we are more susceptible to media social engineering. It is a true social science. The truth has finally come forward, but it conditioned millions of us to fear it and to hate those who speaks it in preference for a biblical fairy tale and a silly slave syndrome myth. Don't reject the truth for lies you've been misled to believe. Doing so will keep you mentally enslaved by the white society. Millions of our people refuse to accept the truth because of the inherent call for action that comes with accepting the truth. These are those of us who have been brainwashed to function as wardens of their own mental prisons. Those black people who don't critically think never notices their mental change. This is the truth of our plight and condition. And most black people not only don't know what's happening, they don't even know they don't know. That's how far off base. Nothing is being done in our defense because we no longer have true black leaders. We only have black puppet leaders that actually works for the benefit of the white establishment. Welcome to the real world. It's time to wake up to the real world. Stop believing idiotic things that insult your own intelligence. The white society deploys disinformation campaign against us. They said the most difficult prison to escape is the one for our minds. And they've created a prison for our minds through their monopoly of information that we receive. We must start becoming critical thinkers and question the validity of all information we receive from the white society. And always ask yourself, how does accepting this information negatively impact my community? How does accepting this information affect my unity? How does accepting, because they always feed you information that gives them greater power over our community. They want to keep us demoralized, divided, and self-loathing because it gives them greater power and control over us. It is time to wake up to our reality. One love and peace.